Have you ever had one of those quiet afternoons where you pause, sip your tea, and suddenly wonder, am I doing enough to take care of myself at this age? Maybe the doctor said your numbers look good, or your kids told you that you look great for your age, but deep down, you still feel like something's missing, like there's another layer to living well that you haven't quite tapped into yet. It's a feeling many of us share after 60. We're told to eat right, stay active, take our pills, and get enough sleep. And yes, those things matter. But there's one powerful habit, quiet and easily overlooked, that has been shown to add years to your life and life to your years. And the funny thing is, most seniors ignore it, not because they don't care, but because they assume it's too simple to make a difference, or they've never been told how much it truly matters. Now, before I tell you what that habit is, let me ask you this. When was the last time you had a real conversation with someone? Not small talk. Not a quick, how are you, in passing. I mean a heartfelt, genuine connection. The kind where you felt heard, understood, less alone. If it's been a while, you're not the only one. As we get older, those deep conversations can become rare. Life slows down, people move, friends pass, and before we know it, silence becomes our routine. And that's the habit we're talking about today. Connection. Real, consistent human connection. It's not just nice to have. It's essential. Studies have shown that loneliness can be as damaging to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's not an exaggeration. That's science. And yet, this is the one habit most seniors overlook. Why? Because we don't always notice it happening. Loneliness isn't loud. It creeps in slowly. Maybe you're widowed. Maybe your kids are busy. Maybe the friends you used to walk with no longer can. So your mornings start with a quiet breakfast. Your afternoons drift by with TV in the background, and your evenings settle into stillness. It feels normal after a while, but inside, something dims. And here's the thing. Connection doesn't always mean being surrounded by people. It doesn't even mean being super social. It means feeling like you belong. Like someone sees you, hears you, and values who you are. That kind of connection helps regulate your stress hormones, supports your immune system, improves your sleep, and even boosts your brain health. It's not just good for the heart emotionally. It's good for the actual physical heart too. Now let's talk about how to fix it, because this isn't about blaming ourselves or the world around us. It's about gently shifting back toward what our bodies and minds truly need. Start small. Maybe you call one old friend each week. Maybe you join a small group at your local community center. Not because you want to be social, but because you want to feel seen. Maybe you strike up a short conversation with the person next to you at the market, or ask your grandchild what music they've been listening to lately. That little spark of connection, it adds up. Don't wait for someone to reach out first. I know that can be hard, especially if you've been the one who always reached out in the past. Maybe you felt rejected. Maybe you're tired. But being the first to say, I'd love to talk, isn't weakness, it's strength. It's an act of care for yourself. It's planting seeds that will nourish you down the road. And if you're thinking, well, I don't really need people, I've always been fine on my own, I hear you. Independence is a beautiful thing. But independence doesn't mean isolation. You can be strong and self-reliant and still allow yourself the comfort of connection. They're not opposites. They're partners. Even something as simple as writing a letter, joining an online group for people your age, or attending a book club. These are all ways to reconnect with life, to remind yourself that your presence matters, that you still have so much to share. There's also another layer to this, connection with yourself. Because if you've been ignoring your own needs, brushing off your emotions, or going through the motions just to get by, then that disconnection can take just as much of a toll as loneliness. So make space to check in with yourself. Journal if that helps. Take walks without distractions. Ask yourself, how am I really? And then answer with honesty and compassion. This habit of reconnecting with others and with yourself isn't a grand, dramatic change. It's a daily decision to stay present, to stay open, and to stay human. And over time, it rewires your brain. It softens your heart. It makes life feel a little fuller, even if nothing on the outside has changed. You don't have to do this perfectly. You just have to begin. And the best part? Every effort you make to nurture connection will ripple out in ways you might not even see. Someone else may feel a little less alone because you reached out. A grandchild might carry your wisdom into their own life. A stranger might smile because you shared a kind word. That's what living well truly looks like. Not just taking care of your body, but feeding your spirit too. And connection is how we do that. Now that we've explored this habit from the heart, let's keep going. Because once we understand that connection isn't just a nice to have, but a deep biological need, it changes how we move through each day. It's no longer just about passing the time. It's about filling that time with moments that matter. And the beautiful part is, it doesn't take much to start. Let me tell you a quick story. There's a gentleman I met not long ago. Let's call him Mr. Nguyen. He's 74, lives alone in a small house with a big garden, and for years, he was convinced he was doing just fine on his own. His kids were grown, his wife had passed years earlier, and his days were quiet, filled mostly with gardening and watching old films. He told me, "I'm not lonely, I'm just used to silence." But as we talked more, he admitted that sometimes at night he would feel a kind of emptiness. Not sadness exactly, just a hollow space where conversation used to live. So I asked him if he had ever considered volunteering. Something small, something gentle. He said he hadn't, but he'd think about it. A month later, he started helping out once a week at a local elementary school's garden club. Nothing demanding, just showing the kids how to plant seeds and care for herbs. That was it. But his whole energy changed. His face lit up when he talked about it. He said, "They ask so many questions, and I feel useful again. I didn't know I missed that." What Mr. Nguyen discovered wasn't just about being needed. It was about being seen, feeling like you still have something to offer. And you do. You have decades of wisdom, of stories, of lessons. That is valuable. That is rare. And when you share it, when you engage with the world, even in tiny ways, it helps you live longer and feel better. Now, maybe you're not into kids. That's okay. Maybe your thing is animals, or nature, or writing, or history. Maybe there's a book club or music group in your area, or even online. Connection doesn't need to be face-to-face anymore, though that's wonderful when possible. A phone call, a shared email thread, even exchanging recipes with someone to the mail, it's all connection. And don't forget about your neighbors. Sometimes we think people aren't interested, but the truth is, they're often just waiting for someone else to make the first move. A smile, a wave, a friendly question about their garden or their dog. That's where connection starts. It's not always deep right away. It grows. But here's where it gets even more interesting. When you connect more with others, your brain literally changes. Studies show that seniors who stay socially engaged have slower cognitive decline, better memory, and lower risks of dementia. That means every good conversation is like a little workout for your brain, and it's a lot more fun than crossword puzzles. Plus, people who nurture relationships also tend to take better care of themselves. Think about it. When someone's expecting to see you, you're more likely to get dressed, go for that walk, eat well, and stay active. You matter to someone else. And that gives each day a little more purpose. And purpose is one of the most powerful predictors of longevity we have. So if you've ever caught yourself saying, "I don't want to bother anyone," or "I'm too old to make new friends," I want you to pause. Because those aren't truths, they're old beliefs. And you can gently set them down. You are never too old to be loved, to be appreciated, or to find new joy in unexpected places. It's not about suddenly becoming a social butterfly. It's about choosing just one or two small actions that invite connection back into your life. Maybe you set a weekly tea date with a neighbor. Maybe you offer to read to kids at the library. Maybe you finally join that singing group you've been curious about. Or maybe you just sit with someone at the park and listen to their story. Even on days when you're feeling low, and we all have them, remind yourself that reaching out, even just a little, is part of taking care of your health. Not just your heart emotionally, but your heart physically. It lowers blood pressure, reduces stress, helps you sleep more soundly, and it makes each day feel more meaningful. And let's talk for a second about digital connection. It's easy to roll our eyes at technology, especially when it changes so fast. But if you can, try not to push it away completely. A short video call with a grandchild, a friendly message sent through a phone, even watching a shared show and talking about it after, these moments count. They truly do. You don't have to be tech savvy. You just have to be willing. So let this be a gentle reminder that staying connected isn't about filling your calendar or forcing yourself to socialize when you don't feel like it. It's about keeping your heart open, letting life in, being willing to show up in your own way and say, I'm still here, and I still matter. Now, let's keep this conversation going. And as we keep this conversation going, let's take a moment to reflect on something simple but powerful. The kind of connection that starts with yourself. Because while connected with others is deeply healing, the way you treat yourself day in and day out, your inner voice, your habits, your outlook shapes how well you age just as much. Sometimes, the disconnection we feel begins on the inside. We rush through the day on autopilot. We ignore how tired we really are. We push away uncomfortable feelings. And over time, we start to feel less alive. Not because something dramatic happened, but because we stopped tending to our emotional and spiritual health. That's why this habit we've been talking about, connection, isn't just about socializing. It's about pausing and saying, how am I really? When was the last time you asked yourself that question, not just out of habit, but with real care? Aging well after 70 isn't just about walking daily or eating your greens. It's about staying emotionally tuned in, checking in with your heart, asking yourself what you need, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually too. Some days, that might mean taking a quiet afternoon nap without guilt. Other days, it might mean calling a friend just to laugh. And sometimes, it means allowing yourself to feel sad or nostalgic without brushing those feelings aside. That, too, is part of healthy aging, allowing all your emotions to move through you instead of bottling them up. You see, when you make space to acknowledge how you truly feel, you become more grounded, more present, and that presence makes connection easier. People can feel when you're truly there with them, calm, open, and engaged, and that kind of energy is magnetic, even if you say very little. And here's something else that's easy to forget. Reconnecting with joy is a habit, too. Joy doesn't always arrive with a bang. Sometimes, it's as subtle as sunlight hitting your favorite chair in the afternoon, or the first sip of warm tea, or watching birds gather on the balcony. The more you practice noticing those tiny joys, the more vibrant your days feel. That's something I want you to carry with you. Joy isn't gone. It just needs a little invitation back in. Now, I also want to talk briefly about forgiveness. Yes, it's a big word. And sometimes it feels out of reach, especially if you've been carrying hurt or resentment for many years. But here's the thing. Holding on to anger or pain weighs on your body and your mind more than you realize. It steals your energy. It tenses your shoulders. It keeps your heart a little closed. Letting go doesn't mean what happened didn't matter. It just means you're choosing to stop letting it steal your peace. Forgiveness, even in tiny amounts, is one of the most freeing forms of reconnection there is. Reconnection with your own lightness, with your ability to move forward. And if that feels too big right now, that's okay. Just start with gentleness. Be gentle with your own story. Be kind to who you were and who you are becoming. Speak to yourself like you would to someone you love. That habit of kindness toward yourself is a form of connection that heals from the inside out. So when we ask, what's the one longevity habit most seniors overlook? We now know it's not just about more exercise, more vitamins, or more appointments. It's about more meaning, more presence, more connection to life in all its small, beautiful forms. This isn't about reinventing your world overnight. It's about starting with one choice each day that says, I'm still growing, I'm still here, and I'm still open to joy. Whether that's calling an old friend, writing a journal, or smiling at someone on your morning walk, those are the building blocks of a long, meaningful life. And if today you're feeling a little disconnected, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. We all go through seasons of quiet. What matters is that you remember you can reach for connection again, anytime. It's never too late. Whether you're 70, 80, or 95, your heart still wants to be part of something real. So honor that. If this message spoke to you, if it made you pause or help you feel seen in any way, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one small way you'll reconnect this week? What brings you peace? What helps you feel alive? Let's talk, because this community is here for each other. And if you found this video helpful, please give a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content that supports your health, your happiness, and your journey. Every week, we share insights like this to help you live longer, not just in years, but in joy. Because aging well isn't about fighting time. It's about deepening into life. And that, my friend, is something we all deserve. Here's to you, your courage, your heart, and the beautiful years still ahead.